Okay? So if I have a 2 in the, or a 6 in the hundreds place, divided by 2, what am I going to have for an answer?
300.
300ths. And I'm just going to write out unit form. And that's hundreds, not hundredths. Okay? So go ahead and write it out. And you can do HUND if you want. I don't care. Okay? Now, what about 6 tens divided by 2?
3 tens.
3 tens. Okay? And 6 ones divided by 2? 3 ones. And 6 tenths divided. Very good. Now, there's not going to be a lot of writing today, but we're writing some of these out. Okay? Now, what if I take 6 tenths divided by 2 and I write it in standard form? How would I write 6 tenths? 0.6. And then I know that if I divide by a whole number, I'm going to have one digit behind the decimal. Just like we do when we multiply. Okay? Now, this only works when it's a whole number. Okay. So now let's go through and let's see if you guys can get these figured out. So 6 hundredths divided by 2 would be 3 hundredths. Remember, we have an abbreviation for that. Very good. And then after that, write it in standard form. Okay? Yes, thank you. That's what happens when I'm talking and writing at the same time. Thanks, Micah. Okay, you think you can figure out these last 4 by yourself?
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll check them. So let's write these answers. 8 thousandths divided by 2 equals 4 thousandths. How do I write that in standard form?
0.004. No.
8,000. There's no TH on that, is there? So it's the 8,000.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh. I was about to say.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one, this one, the answer would be what? 4 ones. Okay. And this one, the answer would be 4 tenths. So you see how the place value is staying the same?
Yeah.
Okay. How do I write 8 tenths in standard form?
0.8.
Good. So this is a little review of decimals. Okay. We got one more and then I'll let you catch up. So this one, it has a THS. Okay. So that means it's going to be 4 hundredths. And we have a THS on that. Okay. So table 2. How do I write 8 hundredths in standard form?
0.08.
Okay, and 4 hundredths?
0.04.
0.4. Okay? All right, so how do you feel about this? It's just basic division, Micah, not necessary. Basic division, okay, you're just remembering that the place value doesn't change, and it only works if you're dividing by a whole number. Now, the good news is we're not doing decimal division today, okay? We're going to have remainders. So, I don't want to do that part. Or that one. Okay, right here. So, I feel like you have 3 problems, but there's just one on this page, right? Yeah. Okay. So here's what we do first, and I'm going to just walk you through this and don't get stressed out. But listen, so you're not messing with your shoes, okay? First thing I do is I write the problem in the doghouse. Which number goes in the doghouse?
208.
Okay, is it the largest, the smallest? No?
The smallest.
No?
The largest.
You're all right, it's 208. And it is the largest, but that isn't always the case, because what if this was 20.8?
37.
Right, so you're gonna have to choose the first number. Remember that? The first number goes inside the doghouse. And we're dividing by 37. So everybody write that down and stay with me. Okay, can you see?
You can't do 37.
All right, now I'm gonna round 37 to the nearest 10. 40. And I'm gonna round 208 to the nearest 100.
200.
Okay, so this is gonna be an estimate. So what's 20 divided by 4?
5.
Okay, so this is where you have to do what I do because I know what's coming. Okay, so 5 is our estimate for an answer. Okay, and we can't, let me find a light highlighter. Let's try that one. We can't fit 37 into 20, can we? No, so that's not going to work. So let me get rid of that. So we're going into 208. So we're going to try a 5. What I mean when I say we're going to try a 5 is we're going to do the math and see if 5 will work. So the math would be 37 times 5. Okay, so everybody write 37 times 5 and solve it. And you have a little more room than I do. So did you get this answer?
Yep.
What is it?
185.
185. Do you think that would work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it will totally work. So where will I write the 5?
Underneath the 208.
Well,
Above the 2.
Above
Above the 8.
the 8. Very good. So put the 5 above the 8 because I'm dividing into the whole big number. Okay? And then I already know what 37 times 5 is because look up here, boys and girls, I just did it. So what is it?
185.
Okay. What do I do next on long division?
Subtract.
Subtract. So that's going to be 23. Okay. So 5 remainder 23. Now I'm not going to write my answer yet. Okay. Get all this written down and then I'm switching to a highlighter. Got your highlighter? Okay, there are 3 numbers you need to highlight in this problem and you'll see why in a minute.
That's really dark.
It's a little too dark. Maybe I'll try that green. Should I try the green?
Yeah.
See if it's as dark. Is that any better?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and did you notice that when I highlight these 3 numbers, they make kind of a triangle? I'm thinking of those as the corner of the triangle, okay?
The 3 musketeers.
So here's what we're doing. We're going to take our divisor times the quotient. So 37 times 5, and we're going to check this problem to make sure it's right. And this works with any long division problem that has a remainder. So we already know what 37 times 5 is. We already did it. What is it?
185.
185. Okay. Now, do you remember from 4th grade what we do with this remainder when we're checking a problem? You add it in. I knew that you remembered because the other kids remembered too. So we're going to add the remainder of 23. And I bet we're going to get 208. What do you think? Okay? And here's the next step I want you to follow. Make sure you've got 3 numbers highlighted in your problem that you checked. So 3 and 3. And then draw an arrow if your dividend matches your answer. Now, why do you think I highlight this bottom 23 and not the top one that I write up there?
It's because the 23 the bottom one is the one that you're going to add to the.
I'm going to add it last when everything else is done. So that's why I highlight the bottom one. Did I teach you this already? I feel like I did. Okay, so let's do another one. So my answer on this one, what is it? 5 remainder 23. So write your answer before we move on. Okay. Leah, could you do me a favor? Could you check Google Classroom and see if I sent you that video from Friday, please? Okay, let's move on to the next one. I'm just going down, I guess. Okay. So is this your problem 128 divided by 57?
Yeah.
Okay. So which number goes in the doghouse? The first one. Everybody say the first one. The first one. Okay. And we're dividing by 57. Okay, so you got that written?
Yeah.
You skipped one, Sebastian. Go back up.
Oh,
Okay, what should I round 57 to?
60.
60. Now, this is when things get a little tricky. If I rounded this to the nearest 100, it would be 100. And 6 doesn't go into 100 even. So we're going to find a number that it will go into. I like to do this. Look at the board. I like to take my 6 and see if it will go into these first two numbers. Will it?
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of 128, I'm going to write 120 there. And all this is going to do is give me a starting point. So 120 divided by 6 is 2. So what number am I going to multiply times 2?
What, 57?
57. I'm going to see if that actually works. 57 times 2. Let's see if it's more than 128. And if it is, we have to go down. Is that right? Okay. So where do I write the 2?
The 2 at the top of the 8?
Yes. And what do I write under the 128?
Subtract 1.
114. And what do you get?
40.
So my answer right now as it stands is 2 remainder 14. And I'm going to check it.
This was?
Yes?
Highlight, right? Highlight.
You're going to highlight 3 numbers. Good job, Caleb. So we're going to highlight in the shape of a triangle. Okay. Hopefully you can still see mine. And we're going to take our divisor times the quotient. Divisor times the quotient, which we already know the answer to, because we did it over here in our guess and check. Okay. So what's the answer to 57 times 2?
114.
114. Okay. Now I take my remainder, and what do I do with my remainder? Add it up. And here's what I do. I make sure I've got 3 numbers in this problem. And if the 128 matches your dividend, you got the right answer. Okay? Now, so what's my answer to this problem? Whoops.
2 remainder 14.
2 remainder 14. This is very similar to what we did before Christmas. We just did it with a 1-digit divisor. Okay? All right, let's keep going. We got one more?
Yep.
All right. So step number 1.
Round it up.
Well, let's write it down. Yeah, write it down first. Okay. Now we're going to round the divisor. What does 83 round to? 80. Let's go to 80. Trust me on this. Now what I'm doing, don't underline this, but what I'm doing is, I'm looking at the 66. Does 8 go into 66? No, but there's a number close that it goes into.
670.
I don't think 8 goes into 67.
660. 600?
Nope.
70?
You're just guessing. Think about your 8s.
83.
Count by 8s.
Goes to 64.
64. 64. So if you have to skip count by eights to find that number that's closest, you're going to have to do it. Okay? Does everybody know how to skip count?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're not messing around and playing with highlighters. So now I'm going to do this math. What's 64 divided by 8?
8.
Okay, so we're going to try an 8. What are we going to take times 8?
83 times 8.
83 times 8. Everybody do the math. Oh, that's nice.
Yep. I already knew it.
You already knew it? Okay, so this means we've got 8, right? Okay. And 664.
That's just a 0.
And all I have to do now, boys and girls, is highlight. And I'm pretty much done. I'm just going to go around here. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
That was the easiest.
That's nice. Now try not to make a bunch of noise, because remember I'm recording. Okay? So now we're going to do a word problem using division like this a little bit. Okay? All right. So this word problem is actually pretty good. It says, Zenon's baby sister weighed 132 ounces at birth. How much did his sister weigh in pounds and ounces? Okay, so I've got ounces, right? I've got to change ounces to pounds. Everybody write that down. And here's my situation. I need to figure out how many ounces are in a pound. How many is it? Remember that LV gives you a hint.
11.
16. And it's on the poster if you forgot. Point to it, man. It's right behind her. There you go. Okay? So, do you think I'm going to figure out pounds, do you think I'm going to get larger or get small?
Get small.
Get smaller.
Divide 132 by 16.
So I'm going to do 132 divided by 16. Does anybody know another way to write that?
1.32.
No, not with decimals. Watch. Could I multiply if I wanted?
Yeah.
I just wouldn't multiply by a whole number. What would I multiply
Fraction.
by? A fraction. So either way, it's going to be the same. Okay? You can write it however you want. So 132 divided by 16. And I'm going to estimate this. So what would I round 16 to? I'm going to write it up here.
20.
You think? I think that's a good idea. And then 20 doesn't go into 13. So you want to go up to 14 or you want to go down to 12?
14.
14. Okay. So we're going to make this 140. We're rounding it up a little bit. We're just changing the number. Okay, so what am I going to try here? A 7. Okay. So everybody get this written down. Get it written down.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to take 7 times what, boys and girls?
7 times 16.
And I'm going to just do it right down here so it's not in the way. This is my little guess and check area. Okay? All right, so what do we get here? Huh. You think that's big enough? Max, do you think 112 is big enough, or should I go higher to get closer to 132?
Probably higher.
Probably higher. So instead of a 7, what am I going to try?
8.
An 8. Okay, everybody try that problem. An 8 plus 4. So is that closer?
Yes.
Max, go sit back there by Miss Beatrice at the high table, please, and she can help you write. Because the most important thing about this is that you get it in your brain, not that you're able to keep up writing. Okay, so what do I write on the top of 132?
8.
What number do I put it above?
2.
Good. What do I write at the bottom?
128.
And Max, I want you to focus and don't give up. Okay? All right. So this is more on the floor, go next door. Did you notice that? So 12 minus 8 is?
4.
So we've got 8 remainder 4. And we're not going to check it.
8 remainder 8. Sure.
Oh, why'd I write 8? Because I'm talking and writing and thinking. Okay, so how many pounds do you think that is?
4.
It's 8 pounds, okay? And then what do you think I'm going to do with the 4?
4 ounces.
4 ounces. Very good. So pounds and ounces would be 8 pounds, 4 ounces. 8 pounds with 4 ounces left over. Okay? So that's when you might have to use division, long division to solve it. Pounds and ounces. You don't have to because we're not checking. Okay, let's do the lesson. Now, disregard everything you didn't get written down and turn the page and get ready to go. And you're going to have a positive attitude about this. First thing I do, write the problem in the doghouse. Okay? Are you focusing? Okay? Next thing I do. Round 17. Millie, what do you think I should round 17 to? 20. And then we got to pick a number close to 59 that 2 will go into.
600.
60, which makes it 600. Now this is changing things, boys and girls. Okay? Now I'm going to have a 2-digit answer right here. Instead of 3, it's going to be 30. Okay? But we're only looking at the 3 to start with. So follow my lead. Since I know this is going to be a 2-digit quotient, I'm going to check to see if 17 will go into 59. Will it go in? I like to put a box around it. I said you could put a box around it with your pencil or your highlighter. Okay? All right, so how many times do you think 17 will go into 59? Hint?
30.
3. 3. Okay, so let's try it. What am I going to take times 3? 17 times 3. Everybody do it. What do we get?
51.
That's pretty close. Okay? So I think we're going to go with it, don't you? So where do I write the 3?
On the top of the 9.
On top of the 9. And what do I write below 59?
51.
51. And I'm calling this guess and check because sometimes we're right. And sometimes we have to try again like we did on the last one when Max said, Max, are you writing? When Max said he thought we should go up 1 because he thought we could fit another one in. Okay? So that's why I call it guess and check. Is 8 less than 17?
Yes.
Bring down my 0. And don't erase your guess and check. Because now I can use that to help me figure out what I want to try next. So I know 3 is going to be too small because that's 51 and I got to get to 80. So do you think it's going to be, what do you think it's going to be? A 4 or a 5?
5.
You want to try 5? Okay. So everybody try 17 times 5. Everybody write it down. Jada, do you want to move over on the other end by Serenity? Why don't you? That way you guys aren't so crowded. So what do we have here?
85.
Uh-oh. Now what?
Got a 4.
Got to try the 4. Gonna have to use the 4. That's why it's called guess and check. Now you'll get to the point where you can do a little bit of this guess and check in your head. Okay, is that one working better?
Yep.
68? Okay, so what am I writing on top of the 0?
The 5.
Not the 5, it was too big.
4.
The 4, good. Kind of glad you said that. Because that's a mistake that could easily happen. Now, 4 times 17, we already know. What is it?
68.
68. So when I subtract, this is more on the floor, go next door. What do you get?
12.
Remainder 12. Okay, so go ahead and write remainder 12.
Do we highlight?
Yep, we're going to highlight. And we're going to highlight in the shape of a triangle. And this is going to be a little different. So I really need you to stay with me, and we're not going to give up, are we? No. I'm making those a little darker so we can see them. Okay, so remember, I'm going to take my divisor times my quotient and then add the remainder. So 17 times 34. Everybody write that down. And this is a good review going into assessments later this week. So what kind of math is this?
Turtle head.
Turtle head. And you don't have to draw the turtle head, but you have to use X's and O's. Now this is really cool. Are you ready for this? So we know what 17 times 4 is already. What was it? 68. Look, it's right here. And then we've got X and O. And 3 times 7?
21.
21. And 2 plus 3?
5.
5. So does that look a little bit like 51 right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're matching. The numbers are matching. And if I wanted to, I could draw arrows, but that's too many arrows. Now add it up. Okay? Now, here's where sometimes I get confused. Okay. You might think about taking your iPad with you because you got a couple pages to do. Just take both papers and your iPad and I'll send you this video. Okay? You're not coming back, are you? Okay. All right. So this is where I sometimes freak out a little bit because I just added and my numbers don't match. But what have I not done yet? I haven't added my remainder. Okay? So if I do that, I bet I'm going to get 590. Okay? And is that the dividend I started with? Okay, now here's the last thing. Make sure you've got 3 numbers in your problem. Okay, so while long division is a lot of steps, they are totally steps you are capable of doing. We just have to really go slow and keep our minds focused on what we're doing, whether we're dividing, multiplying, subtracting, or adding. Let's try another. You can do this. Okay. So step 1, write the problem. Okay. Now we're going to round the divisor.
30.
Round to 30. Now what could I make 887 that 3 goes into?
89.
900. Very good. Because 3 goes into 9. And how do I know that it's got to be 900?
Because
this is a 3-digit number. Okay? So I need 3 digits right here. Now that's going to make this, what? That's the same estimate we got last time. Uh-oh, did I forget to write my answer? I always do that. What was my answer?
34 remainder 12.
12. And our estimate of 30 was pretty close, wasn't it? Okay. All right, let's go back over here. Now, I want to add a step in. Remember, if I figure out that this is going to be a 2-digit quotient or 2-digit answer, I'm going to check to see if 27 goes into 88. Does it?
Yes.
So put the box there. We're just looking at 88 right now. Okay? So, you guys want to try the 3 again like we did last time? Okay, 27 times 3. I don't know, is it too big? Oh, good. Oh, it's 81. Okay. So what do I write on the top?
3,
And where?
7.
Where do I write the
5,
3?
8. On top of the second 8.
On top of the second 8. Good.
Because of the bar.
And we already know that 3 times 27 is what? 81.
So, subtracting them. Bring down the 7.
Okay. Now this is why I like to have my guess and check there. Do I already know that 3 is too big? Micah, focus. Do I already know that 3 is too big? So what am I going to have to try? A 2. So what do I take times 2?
27.
27. Okay, everybody figure that out. That'll work, won't it? Okay, so what do I write at the top?
32.
A 2. What do I write at the bottom?
54.
And go ahead and subtract. So my answer here is
32. Remainder 22.
remainder 23. Yeah, we did. And we're going to, what are we going to do? Highlight. And I feel like my highlighter is covering up my numbers, so I'm actually going to put a box around them this time. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, but I still got my triangle, don't I? And I'm going to get this out of the way. Oh, no, I'm not. It's just going to be there. Okay, so put your divisor on top. 27 times 32. Turtle head multiplication. I have a feeling I already know what it's going to be.
Yep.
Because it's in my long division problem.
Yep.
Okay, X's and O.
Then we already know what the second one is.
Okay,
Same thing.
so 3 times 7
7. Oh, 20. 21.
and 2 times 3 is 5. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2. And look, boys and girls, that number matches and this number matches. Now add them up. And what's my last step? Add the remainder. And I got 887. Okay, don't forget, highlight those numbers in your problem also, so you make sure you got all 3 of the correct numbers. Oh. Okay, last problem.
No, you have
Oh, guess what I forgot to do again?
to.
Right. 32, remainder 23. We good? Okay. Keep going. This is the last one. You're going to love it. Yep. So 839 divided by 41. What should I round this? 40. And 839. Should I just go down to 800? Yeah. So what are we going to try?
2.
A 2. And it's going to be 20 something, isn't it, for our answer? We just don't know what. Okay. So what am I going to take times 2?
41.
And some of you can do that in your heads. What's 1 times 2?
82.
Oh, that's 82. Is that going to work?
Yeah.
Totally. Okay.
How do you knew the answer that quick?
Yeah, we can do some of this stuff in our heads. So that gives me 19 once I bring my 9 down. Now, do any of you remember what you do when your number is too small to divide?
Add a
You put a 0 up. So it's a 0, and this is remainder 19. And how do I check it?
multiply 20.
Highlight first.
Right, highlight first. Do 41 times 20. What's the easiest way to do 41 times 20?
You ready?
Take off the 0, put it back on.
Yep.
So we already know 41 times 2. What is it?
820.
82. And all we have to do is what?
Add the
The
190.
Add the 19. And do I have all 3 numbers?
Yeah.
Kind of. All right, how do you feel about this? Was that your last problem?
Forgot
That
to
was
write
so
the
easy.
thing.
Oh, I still forgot to write the answer. 20, remainder 19. Okay, good job today.